The shortcut home. The rain was relentless that night, hammering against the windshield of Emily's beat-up sedan as she drove along the winding country road. It was well past midnight, and the only light came from her flickering headlights and the occasional flash of lightning. She'd been at her friend Sarah's house, a small gathering to celebrate Sarah's new job, but the storm had cut the night short. Emily wasn't one for parties anyway. She preferred her quiet apartment, her books, her routine, but Sarah had insisted, and now, here she was, squinting through the downpour, miles from home. Her phone's GPS had died an hour ago, the battery drained from trying to find a signal in the middle of nowhere. The radio was useless too, spitting static between bursts of distorted country music. Emily cursed under her breath, gripping the steering wheel tighter. She should have taken the main highway, but Sarah had mentioned a shortcut, a back road that shaved 20 minutes off the drive. "It's fine," Sarah had said, laughing. "Just don't stop for anyone. It's kinda creepy out there." Emily had rolled her eyes at the time, but now, with the trees looming like skeletal fingers in the storm, she wished she'd listened to her gut. The road narrowed, pavement giving way to gravel that crunched under her tires. The forest pressed in on both sides, dense and dark, the kind of place where you could scream and no one would hear. She glanced at her rearview mirror, half expecting to see something, headlights, a figure, anything, but there was only darkness. Her heart thudded, though she told herself it was just a storm making her jumpy. She wasn't a kid anymore. She didn't believe in monsters. Then, up ahead, her headlights caught something. A glint of metal, maybe, or glass. She slowed down, peering through the rain. It was a car, pulled off to the side of the road, its hood propped open. The driver's door was ajar, swinging slightly in the wind. No lights, no movement. Just an abandoned vehicle in the middle of nowhere. Emily's stomach twisted. She thought about Sarah's warning. Don't stop for anyone. But what if someone was hurt? What if they needed help? She wasn't heartless. She couldn't just drive by. She pulled over a safe distance away, her car idling as she weighed her options. The rain was too heavy to see much, but the other car looked old, rusted, like it had been there a while. She grabbed her phone, hoping for a bar of signal, but the screen stayed stubbornly blank. "Great," she muttered, shoving it into her pocket. She'd check quickly, she decided. If no one was there, she'd keep going. If someone needed help, she'd figure it out. Emily pulled her jacket over her head and stepped into the storm. The rain stung her face, cold and sharp, as she approached the car. "Hello," she called, her voice swallowed by the wind. No answer. The car was empty, the interior soaked from the open door. Tools were scattered on the ground, a wrench, a tire iron, a flashlight that wasn't on. Whoever had been here was gone. Maybe they'd walked to find help. Maybe they'd been picked up. Emily shivered, not just from the cold. Something felt wrong, like the air itself was holding its breath. She turned back toward her car when she heard Edar rustle, faint but deliberate, from the woods to her left. She froze, her pulse hammering in her ears. "Hello," she called again, louder this time. Nothing, just the rain and the wind. She took a step toward her car, then another, her boots slipping on the wet gravel. The rustle came again. Closer now, like footsteps crunching through leaves. She spun around, scanning the trees, but the darkness was impenetrable. "Is someone there?" Her voice cracked, betraying her fear. No response, but the feeling of being watched was overwhelming, like a physical weight pressing against her skin. She fumbled for her keys, her fingers numb from the cold, and sprinted the last few steps to her car. She yanked the door open, slid inside, and locked it, her breath coming in short, panicked gasps. The windows were fogging up, but she didn't care. She turned the key, the engine sputtering to life, and peeled out onto the road, gravel spraying behind her. She drove faster than she should have, the car skidding on the slick road. The abandoned car faded into the distance. But the unease didn't. She kept glancing at her rearview mirror, expecting to see headlights or a figure standing in the road. There was nothing, but that only made it worse. Her mind raced with possibilities. Maybe it was an animal, a deer, or just a storm playing tricks. But deep down, she knew it wasn't. Something had been out there, watching her, waiting. The road stretched on, endless and unchanging, until she spotted a sign up ahead, barely legible through the rain. Miller's Gas and Diner, 2 miles. Relief flooded through her. A gas station meant people, lights, safety. She pressed the gas pedal harder, desperate to get there. The trees began to thin, and soon she saw the faint glow of neon in the distance. The diner was small, run down, but open, its windows casting a warm light into the night. She pulled into the lot, her tires crunching over broken asphalt, and parked as close to the entrance as she could. Inside, the diner was nearly empty. An older man sat at the counter, nursing a coffee, and a tired-looking waitress was wiping down tables. The air smelled of grease and burnt coffee, comforting in its normalcy. Emily slid into a booth, her hand still shaking as she ordered a hot tea. The waitress, whose name tag read Doris, gave her a sympathetic look. "Rough night, huh?" she said, pouring the tea. "You could say that," Emily replied, wrapping her hands around the warm mug. She hesitated, then asked, "Hey, do you know anything about a car out on Old Mill Road? Abandoned, hood up, door open." Doris's expression changed, her eyes narrowing slightly. "You saw that car?" she asked, her voice low. Emily nodded, and Doris leaned in closer. "Folks around here don't stop for that car. It's been there for years, off and on. No one knows who it belongs to. Cops check it out sometimes, but it's always empty. They say it's a trap, a trap." Emily's mouth went dry. "What kind of trap?" Doris glanced at the man at the counter, who was staring into his coffee like he hadn't heard a word. She lowered her voice even further. "People stop to help, thinking someone's in trouble. Then they go missing. Not everyone, mind you, but enough. Hikers, drivers, locals. No bodies, no clues. Just gone. Last year, a guy stopped to check on that car. They found his truck a mile away, engine still running. No sign of him." Emily's heart sank. She wanted to laugh it off, to call it a small-town rumor, but the memory of that rustle in the woods, that feeling of being watched, was too fresh. "You're saying someone's out there, luring people?" Doris shrugged, but her eyes were serious. "I'm saying you're lucky you didn't stick around. Whatever's out there, it's not looking for help." Emily didn't sleep that night, even after she made it home. She kept her lights on, her doors locked, and her phone fully charged. The storm had passed, but the unease lingered, a shadow that followed her from room to room. She never took that shortcut again, sticking to the highway no matter how long it took. But sometimes, late at night, she'd hear a faint rustle outside her window, like footsteps in the leaves. And she'd wonder if whatever was out there on Old Mill Road had followed her home.